Hey everybody, here for Empire Season 2, Episode 15. This episode was a little bit boring, but I got a feeling like this is the episode that's like the calm before the storm. So, let's get into it. Again, if y'all hear snoring, my daughter is asleep. It starts off with Hakeem in this strip club that's very reminiscent to me of Lil Wayne in the Lollipop video. Like, I guess the DJ was playing his song and he rapping along to it. And I'm sitting up here like, Hakeem, you want to be Lil Wayne so bad. And on top of that, why do rappers use auto-tune? What's the point? Auto-tune is to help your voice sound better when you sing, not when you rap. When you rap, you're just talking. So why? I never understood that. I just scratched my head on that one. So, Laura is blowing up his phone, and one of his people, his hanger-ons, she's like, yo, Laura blowing you up. And he like, listen, I lost everything. I ain't thinking about Laura right now. So he like, turn on my music. It's like a full-on stripper orgy going on, basically. So yeah, we moved to the scene with Cookie and Jamal, and they're basically trying to figure out who's gonna run Empire now that Hakeem is no longer CEO. And then Jamal and Lucius get into it a little bit because Lucius is basically trying to steer everybody, like the board members and everybody, on his side as far as the whole CEO thing goes and the whole Asa nomination. And Jamal is feeling like, listen, I don't want to get down and dirty like this. It's a little bit of competition, but remember, I'm still your son. So they're arguing over the aces and whatnot. And they were basically asking Jamal, like, are you ready to go up against your father? And he's like, it's whatever. It's just a nomination or whatever, but I was born ready to play. So Lucius was like, all right, you ready to play? Let's play. And I'm like, Lucius, you so dirty, because that's your child. But again, Lucius doesn't care. So Andre and Cookie are discussing the whole CEO thing, and they're hoping that they can all come together to convince the board to let Lucius be CEO again. So they're having an event, I think before the Aces or something like that. But it's an event that Andre came up with to basically benefit people with mental illness. Since in the black community, mental illness is like very hush-hush. Like, people make it seem like, we're not supposed to have mental illness. We're supposed to be ashamed of it. And it's like, people are human. And if someone has a mental illness, you can't ignore it. You can't put a band-aid on it. That's not how it works. You have to actually work with it. And that's what Lucius is doing. Lucius is putting a band-aid on the situation with his mother and with Andre. Like, he's basically, he doesn't know how to deal with it because his mom went through it. He went through hell and back with his mom. So he's gonna, he feels like he doesn't want to deal with it again. So that's why he avoids the whole, issue of bipolar disorder. The hell is wrong with me? Disorder, like the plague. But Andre wants to do this event to raise some money and also shed light on the fact that, yes, black people have mental illness. What is wrong with me tonight? Mental illness as well, and it shouldn't be ignored. It should be treated. And I'm with Andre. I think it's a fantastic idea. I think he's doing the right thing in wanting to talk about a situation that's near and dear to him, being that he just found out that he got the gene or the illness from his grandmother. So Hakeem is still in the strip club, and he's in there just like, I feel like a failure. He's like, I feel like a failure. I had everything. you know, I'm unhappy. So Laura comes in and they're like, well, how did she find you? And she's like, listen, I got all of these trolls, you know, the app that your dad had or whatever. I got all of these trolls tracking where you are and telling me where you are and what you're doing. So he's like, well, you know, I lost everything. And Laura's like, listen, I'm not with you because you were CEO. I'm with you because I love you and we're in this together. He's like, well, you don't care that I'm not CEO anymore? She's like, no. He's like, you don't care that... There was something else he said. But then he was basically like, well, you don't care that I got Anika pregnant? And she's like, what? And he's like, well, I got Nika pregnant before me and you got together. So she smacks him and then leaves. I'm like, oh, Lord, Hakeem, you got 99 problems. And chicks and babies and all of that is all of them. So Andre and Jamal come and they visit Hakeem. Hakeem has a nasty hangover. And Hakeem just, you know, feels like he sucks at every point in his life. So he's like, I lost my job. You know, I lost my job as CEO. I'm about to have a baby. And Andre is like, you know what? Suck it up. Be a man. He's like, you complaining that you're having a baby, but I just lost my kid. Let's all baby you like we all been doing. So he's like, no, you know, I didn't mean it like that. It's just, I felt like, you know, I felt like I had so much power when I was CEO. Now I just feel like a failure. And they're like, well, don't feel like a failure. I want us to actually get together and do this whole bipolar event and do charity for it or whatever. And I need you guys to get on board. And they were basically saying that they wanted to help with, I guess, Lucius getting back in the CEO chair. But, you know, Hakeem being fresh out of not being fired voted out, rather, as CEO, I don't really think he's with it. Jamal is he's in competition with Lucius right now, so he's not really sure what to think of it. But Andre is trying to convince them that it's a good idea because, what is this on my leg? He's trying to convince them that it's a good idea because of the event that he's doing, and to get Empire back in the Lion name, like, you know, because Mimi and Camilla, they were all clawing and fighting for it and bringing Empire down, so they just want to get it back and back in the Lion name, like, you know, just have one of them in the seat. So Jamal and Becky are walking, I guess, like down the halls of Empire, and they see Michael, who is Jamal's ex. So he's like, well, you know, I'm just here because I work with the caterer, and would you mind wanting to hang out, catch up somewhere? So they go catch up at this, like, cozy little club, and they're watching this band perform. So the band calls Jamal up, but Jamal is like, no, you guys perform. This is all you. I'm just here to enjoy it. So they convinced him to get on stage. He performed with them again. And the performance was nice. It was a nice performance. It was like a very jazzy, blues-ish type of song that they were singing. And I'm like, all right, Jamal, y'all better sing. Because, I mean, the duet was pretty nice, you know, with Jamal in the band. So I'm like, okay, Jamal. And I mean, that kind of music, I like him singing that better. Like, it does something better with his voice. Better than the other songs that he's ever sung. So Hakeem decides to get off of the, you know, pity express and do something nice for a change, do the right thing for a change. And he starts with Anika. So he invites Anika over because he had his entire apartment baby-proofed. He said it's baby wonderland. He just wants to be there for the baby. He wants to take care of the baby. And Anika is like, well, what makes you think I want you involved with taking care of the baby? And he's like, well, my family is dysfunctional. I don't want the baby to grow up in a family that's dysfunctional. I want to be there. I'm the father. I want to take care of the baby. And she's like, well, Lucius threatened me and the baby, so I don't want to be a part of this family because I don't need to be threatened just because I'm pregnant with your baby. So Hakeem was pissed when he found that out. So Harper and Lucius are talking about exclusive interviews and whatnot over like lobster dinner. Cookie comes in and she's like, It smell like fish in here. Cookie been throwing jabs at Harper since Harper got on this show. She done said that Harper will give Lucius a STD. She done said that Harper smell like fish. She done called the girl mop head. She done said that the girl wear cheap perfume. Cookie just got jokes for days on all of Lucius women. So Hakeem comes in and he's like, listen, I was told that you threatened Anika and the baby. She's carrying my baby. And if you threaten her again, or if you don't treat her like part of the family, if she has to leave, I'm going to leave too, and you'll never see the baby again. And Cookie is like, well, Anika can't take away your rights as a father. That's your baby too, and we have lawyers. And he's like, no, but I'm not going to continue to have her stressed out and disrespected because of something that my dad is saying. This is my baby too, whether you like it or not. So they said they're going to figure out that situation and just deal with it. I mean, it's not a good situation. That's Lucia's ex-fiance who's pregnant with his son's baby. That is a that is some Maury-ish. That's something you would see on Maury. You know, oh, my ex-fiance is pregnant by my son and wants child support or something like that. That's something very ratchet. That's very Maury ratchet. That's a ratchet Maury moment. That's something for Maury. So, Andre and Rhonda discussing the ideas for the event and whatnot and what they should say. So Rhonda is helping him with the ideas. So they're also discussing the whole CEO of Empire thing, and Andre is like, well, Hakeem is out. You know, my dad was CEO. They voted him out. I don't think Jamal is even trying to come for the throne of Empire, so I'm just doing everything to be one step closer to the throne. So I'm like, well, I don't see why he shouldn't be CEO. I mean, Andre would be the best bet for it, but you know, Lucius ain't letting that happen. He's gonna try and get back. Well, he's gonna get back into that seat by any means necessary. So Cookie goes to visit Anika. And before she could even get to Anika's apartment, Anika's being wheeled out in a gurney. So she's like, what's wrong with her? And they're like, well, you're going to have to ride with us to the hospital. Oh, gosh, I hate yawning. In these reviews, I hate it. But y'all my people. Y'all understand. A sister tired. But I'm going to knock these reviews out. So she's being wheeled out in a gurney. And Cookie is like, no, I'm riding with y'all in the ambulance. That's my son's baby. So she's in the ambulance with Anika. They're saying that Anika's having a panic attack. And, you know, Anika's in pain. No. They're asking Anika how she feels. And I think Cookie is saying, you know, she's like, relax. She's having a panic attack. All she needs to do is breathe. So Cookie is like, you know what? Forget everything, Anika. What I need for you to do is breathe. Because if you don't, you're going to keep panicking and you're going to stress the baby out. So breathe. So she was sitting there and coaching her through breathing. And I'm like, you know, this is a nice little moment. Because we all know Cookie and Boo Boo Kitty do not like each other. But the fact that Cookie can be selfless and coach Anika through this emergency, through this time of need, I felt like that was nice, you know? And I'm like, I love Cookie. I love her so much. She is just awesome. So Lucius and Harper are like drinking and kissing and discussing art, and they're getting freaky. And I swear to God, this whole entire scene with him and Harper was very uncomfortable for me to watch, because they sit up here smacking each other and he done flipped her over in a doggy style position, and I'm just looking like it was just so uncomfortable to watch. Because the fact that Cookie said that Harper smelled like fish, and then Lucius is scary when he trying to be sexy. So, I mean, just the whole scene was just making me uncomfortable. Like, I'm just sitting there watching the whole scene like... So, in the middle of all of that happening, I think Cookie was calling and texting Lucius to let him know, hey, you know, Anika's in the hospital. You need to come to the hospital. You need to see what's going on. So Harper is like, maybe I should just do an exclusive on Cookie and see how her manipulation has you wrapped around her finger. So Lucius is like, if I were you, I wouldn't say anything else bad about Cookie. Cookie is good people's. Cookie has my back. Basically threatening her. So Hakeem and Laura are discussing the whole baby situation. And Hakeem is like, listen, I love you. I want to be with you. I want to marry you. Anika will be the mother of my child. I'll have a baby, but I want you to be my wife. And Laura is like, he was like, we'll be a family. And Laura's like, listen, our views and ideas as far as family goes is like on two different levels. So she stands up and gives him back the ring. So when he finally checks his phone, throughout the whole conversation, his phone was ringing off the hook. He finally checks his phone and he runs to the hospital. So when him and Cookie get there, Anika's mom confronts them and she's like, my daughter has been she's been pregnant for 5 months and she's been dealing with the stress and whatnot. And I'm like, dang, she been pregnant for 5 months? She don't even look it. Like, usually by 5 months, you got a little pooch. I don't see nothing on Anika, but okay. So, Hakeem promises that he's going to take care of Anika and the baby, and he's not going to let stress or anything get to her. So, the mom finally lets them in to see Anika, and Cookie goes in, she sees on her phone that Lucius is coming. So, Anika's mom is like, he's not allowed in this room, not after what he did to Anika's father. And Hakeem was like, well, what did he do? So, it cuts from that scene to Lucius arriving, and Hakeem wants to talk to him. And basically, Lucius basically got Anika's dad to commit fraud. And Hakeem was like, what would you do to me? And he's like, I know, he said something like, I thought you was going to kill me. And Lucius was like, well, I would have if you was somebody else's son, but you're my son. But the way that you stepped up and stood your ground and saying that you're going to take care of the baby, I admire and I respect that. And I'm like, again, Lucius always wants his kids to earn his respect. And it's like, they shouldn't even have to do all of this. Like, it's like, now you're treating your kids like a circus act. You want them to do all kinds of tricks just to get your respect. And I mean, that's like dead wrong. So, Hakeem leaves to go check on Anika. Cookie comes and she's harping on Harper, basically saying that she mop head and that she got cheap perfume, like I said earlier. So, Lucius is like, Harper is not my type. I was just using her to get what I needed out of her, and now I'm done, or whatever. So, moving on, we got the ASA event, because I'm going through notes. We got that ASA event, and Lucius is basically downing Jamal, saying, Jamal is a good artist, but he's not seasoned in the game yet. I am. That's where my video came from, with the boom, 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 boom. Basically, he's just putting down Jamal's work. And Jamal is like, this is ridiculous. Like, why does it have to be this bad of a competition? Why can't it just be healthy and may the best man win? And he's like, well, Jamal, it's just business. And Jamal's like, I don't like the way you do business. So Harper is upset that earlier Lucius let another publication scoop her, and her whole Lucius Lion exclusive interview will not be exclusive anymore because the other publication has her. So he's like, well, oh well, like that's just something you got to deal with. So Harper goes to Andre and gives Andre pictures, and Andre's like, well, what is this? Just before Andre's about to go on stage and do his speech or whatever about bipolar disorder, Harper gives him pictures, and he's like, what is this? She's like, that's a group home. So he's looking through the picture, and she's like, keep looking. And he's like, Harper's like, her name is Leah Walker. I believe that's your grandmother. So as soon as she said that, Andre's whole demeanor, face, everything changed. Because remember, just last week, Lucius took Andre to a grave that everybody believed was his mother's grave, when lo and behold, we find out at the end of the episode, his mother's still alive. So I'm like, oh hell, Andre done found out. Andre about to lose his marbles. That's about to set him back 1,000. I'm like, God, Lucius, you are so dirty. So Jamal leaves the event to go do like an impromptu pre-ASA performance back at the club he was at earlier. Frida shows up for support, and he's performing, singing the songs, whatever. Frida and Becky is there. So we go to where do we go? I'm looking. Now we're back at the ASA nomination bipolar event, and Cookie and Lucius are standing there and they're talking, and Harper is questioning them like, well, where's your sons? This doesn't really seem like a family event if the whole family isn't there. And Cookie is like, well, if that's not a family event, I have an event for you. Here's my announcement. At the ASA Awards, Lucius Lion and the Lion family will all be together to perform. And that'll be, good for the awards. It'll be good, ratings for everybody and whatnot. So, yeah. So, they were told in the end that they've raised enough money for the charity, and the board decided that they should be co-CEOs. So at first, Cookie is like, well, we will have to discuss that. And Lucius is like, no, there's nothing really to discuss or whatever. I like the idea. So he's like, come, let's hug it out. We're going to work together because, Cookie is my right hand. She's my number one. We're going to work together. So he's hugging her. And as he's hugging her, he looks at the camera and say, I have your back. Like with a look in his eye. And I'm like, Lucia's going to do something evil to Cookie. But you know what? Cookie is not stupid. She going to be hip to it. And she going to figure something out. Cookie and Lucius have the same mindset. The only difference is Cookie is not like the murdering type. Cookie is the type who she'll cut you off at the knees. Lucius, he'll just shoot first, ask questions later. But Cookie will cut you off at the knees, and then she'll confuse you and mess you up and have you questioning how she did it. So that was basically the end of the episode. Another thing that happened was that Laura and Hakeem were discussing Lucius, because she came and she visited Nika in the hospital. They were discussing Lucius, and she was basically saying that Hakeem got respect from Lucius, and she was checking on Anika, and Hakeem gave the ring back, and he's like, listen, I held this with me in my pocket from the time you gave it to me, and I never want you to take it off. So he gives her the ring back, she accepts it, they make up, that's the end. So we'll see how this goes. Well, all in all, this episode was a little bit boring, but I feel like this was just the calm episode before the storm, because we got 2 episodes left before the season finale. And I just feel like all the issues going to hit the fan, especially when Lucius sees his mother next Wednesday. And I cannot wait for next Wednesday to get here, because I cannot wait to see how Lucius reacts completely to his mother coming back and how he's going to react to Andre bringing her. But anyway, that was Empire. Like I said, this episode was a little bit boring to me, so this review might be a little bit boring. I don't care. It's my review. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I see you guys in the next video. Later.